Good morning, welcome back to the Mini Performance Home Garage. I've been told to call it to separate the different workshops and garages up. I've been working on Austin in the background off camera, reassembling it, but I've also been working on the gearbox replacement for Bumblebee. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the parts of the gearbox and give you a quick update on where I'm at with that. So this is the gearbox I got. It's A+ box from MG Metro, I think the guy said. Got it from a member of the our Facebook page for the Mini Club. I've started to strip it down, got a few bits and pieces loose, like that, as you can see. I've got all the speedo end gear off. The diff end casing was already off. I'll show you that in a second. I've got the gears locked, first and fourth or whatever it is, so that I can undo the pinion nut. The only issue I've got at the moment is that pinion nut is incredibly tight, and I'm just struggling to undo it. My impact gun doesn't have the balls to do it, so I'm going to have to use a long bar and wedge the gearbox better so it doesn't move. But at the moment all I'm doing is just keeping it nicely sprayed up with penetrating fluid to help it get in there. And at some point during this week I'll get back onto it and see about getting that nut off, and then once I've done that I can strip the rest of the gearbox and give it a good clean, because it is really dirty. It's got that typical dirt of an engine that's not had many oil changes, and the gearbox that's just sat in a barn for God only knows how many years. So here's our pile of parts. I got a flywheel end casing with it to match, because obviously I didn't have a A+ one, and as you can see I've given it a clean, if you can believe that, and it still needs a real bit of a clean. But you can see the staining on the inside where I haven't cleaned it. That's what it was all like, that dirty black colour. On here we have the diff housing. It appears to be alright apart from that. If you can see that, if it'll focus, that is a bolt that's snapped off in there. So what I'm going to do this morning, I'm going to get a nut, put it on there, weld it on, because obviously the weld won't take to the aluminium, and then see if I can undo it. I've got the diff end covers here. I didn't get those with the gearbox, unfortunately, so I stripped those off one of the gearboxes I got under the stairs that's knackered. And here's the rest of the parts, all just waiting to get cleaned up in various bags, bits and pieces, all just chucked here. So the plan this morning is to weld a nut onto that bolt head, or the remains of it, and see if I can get it undone from the diff housing, and maybe see about cleaning up some bits and pieces. I've got a blast cabinet next door in the garage, in the home garage, but it's always been a bit of a pain to use, always clogging up and stuff, but it might do the job for cleaning up some of these bits and pieces anyway. I've also got a gear linkage set that came from Kieran, who's known from the 16 valve forum and various places. So this is the gear linkage I got, so let's just do a bit of unwrapping. Right, so there's my complete gear change assembly. Obviously the main housing, the control rod. You can still get these control rods brand new, but you can't seem to get these lower rods and that's the one that's broken on the gearbox I've got, on the gearbox linkage I've got. Obviously you've got the gear stick there, and then all the seals, the gator, the rubber, the whole enchilada. So what I'll do is I'll probably just end up cleaning up the housing there and these rods and the gear stick and just give them a paint. I'll probably just do them with that matte chassis black. It seems to be a nice finish, and that'll do, and then that'll be ready to go in the car. All I need to do is get the proper conversion bracket for the tunnel shape, the Mark 1 to Mark 3 style conversion bracket. Rather than make one like I did last time on Austin, I'm going to get one from Mini Spares now to do the proper one. It should be a lot easier. Well, that was only partly successful. All it's done, I don't think it'll focus, but it's actually snapped the bolt further off inside the housing. So I've got no choice now but to drill it and try a stud extractor on it, and hope I don't destroy the casing. While I had the welder out, I also welded up Christopher's exhaust cowling. It's not very pretty down the bottom there, but just needs a little bit of cleaning off, and then that can get all this grey paint and crap off it, probably in the blaster, if I can get that fired up and get it repainted, ready to go back in the car with the rest of the engine. The radiator's still down there, and that's all from the 8-port build as well. So yeah, that's it for gearbox work for the moment. This afternoon I'll be going back to work on Austin, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I might be able to go for an engine start. I don't think there's much more I need to fit into it. No more parts I need to take anyway down there, just the tools and stuff this afternoon. It's basically just a radiator, and everything down that side of the engine has to go back on. I did all the timing and that yesterday, got it all bolted back up and tightened, but the radiator is looking a bit second hand. But anyhow, that's by the by. So that's the gearbox for Bumblebee. I've got a bit more time on my hands now to do it, because there's more and more shows getting cancelled, or not cancelled, postponed until later on in the year because of this coronavirus thing. So yeah, it's going to be looks like, well, it's looking like it could be summer in the garage, which isn't exactly the end of the world, is it?